Hey everyone, it's Nathus, and today I'm going to be opening my 7th booster kit of the last winter out of the product I got out of my Kickstarter. Um, so I'm really excited. I've been opening some really strong decks so far. So we'll see what we can do here. See if we can keep up that really strong streak. But overall, I'm seeing a couple cards that I'm really excited to open. So good sign, really good sign. So Aerial Assault, I think this might be the first copy of this that I've opened out of everything that I've opened so far, including my Fuse Fest product. This card is pretty insane with the right fuse. So we'll look at that in a second. But I think this might go pretty well with my Betrayer Cacklebones. That'll be like a little spoiler. Alright, so Aerial Assault. Give a creature mobility. This turn, when it moves into a lane with an opposing creature, destroy that opposing creature. So it's level gated at other levels, but basically giving this to a Cacklebones, mobility, and destroying something to destroy something else is pretty insane. So I like this card a lot, and I'm excited to kind of mess with it. So I hope the rest of this deck is good. So we've got a Loyan Monolith, Electronet. We've got a Guard Juggernaut, a Magnetic Captain, Portatron 2000, Progressive Scrapper, Shieldroid, Spirit Steel Infiltrator, and a Zapping War Charger. And we've got a Steel Rosetta with a Tinker, Flight Modifications, and Optimize. So overall, this list is interesting because we've got Aerial Assault. That's really, honestly, the most exciting card, I think, in this list. That being said, Aerial Assault with Portatron could be pretty sick because you can mobility, move something, and then Portatron to move that creature again. So you could get 2 destroys at the same time. So I think that's a cool little combo that I'm going to mess with. But overall, some of the other creatures are kind of pretty consistent with what I've already opened. We've got 2 warriors for that captain, so it's not really that strong there. I feel like every deck's had Electronet. We've got a lot of Alolan Monoliths and Infiltrators. So it's a lot of repeat cards. But overall, like, not a bad list. I feel like it has a lot of potential in sealed because of that Aerial Assault and Portatron combo. So next, we are going to open our Utera. I'm still trying to figure out which colors I think are the strongest out of this set. I think the right Utera list with upgrade synergy could be incredibly strong. I think that it would pair very well with a good Alolan. That being said, I think Necreum has just some of the most sheer powerful cards. So we're starting with an Ardent Wartusk. We've got a Cherished Shrine, Everflow Eidolon. We've got a Ferocious Raptor, a Pack Breakwood. So Breakwood's one we haven't really seen yet. So you could deploy to destroy an Exalt in this lane, and then you can give a creature +4, give this creature +4 for each other creature in play. So the Pack's not a bad modifier here. We've got a Roaring Slayer, Shardplate Behemoth, Tremosaur, Uprising Aetherhound, and a Venerable Lotus. So this will go with an Oros with Dark Spores at level 2, Barkskin at level 3, and Shapeshift at level 4. So overall, we've got a lot of large toughness creatures, but not a lot that could really take advantage of that. The Cherished Shrine giving armor could be kind of helpful just for something like a Sharpplate Behemoth. Um, Overall, I feel like there's just a lot of lack of synergy here. This kind of feels like a mediocre list. Tremosaur might be better than I give it credit for, but I feel like you have to do a lot to give it additional power. So I guess you can Everflow Idle on it a little bit. You can Roaring it. But overall, I feel like you're not going to give it a ton of attack unless you start taking a ton of damage, which it could be really strong. Like, again, this is a card that I feel like I need to see in action a little more to really rank it. But overall, I'm not super impressed by this Utera half. But maybe it's will pair well with something that I'm not really seeing. So far, this Alloy half is my favorite. Next, we're going to go to Tempest, the Butcher. This card is a card that I think, if you could find it in the right list, could be pretty insane. So level 3, you could activate if it has increased attack, you strike an enemy creature. At level 1, I think it battles an adjacent. At level 2, it could battle anything. And at level 3, it strikes. So if you get it in a good deck that pumps its own creatures, I feel like this card could just be pretty wild. So Ancestral Staff is a good way to do that. So when you play a creature in this lane, you give it attack, you can destroy your other staffs to deal damage, but then you can move this Exalt. So you can basically move the Exalt around. So every turn you move it and play something else, so you could give everything buffs. So it's like an opposite Spirit Golem Conclave in some ways. So you got a Charger Mammoth. So it's 2 ways to bump the Butcher. Disintegrate, great removal. Elementalist Knight. So actually, I like this card a lot. It doesn't work right now in the client, but Exalted, when an enemy creature with attack 9 or less enters this lane, you just destroy it automatically. So it's like, if you have a good Exalt, and you could get this in a lane where they have a hard time basically blocking it, this could just continuously destroy their creatures. So I like this card a lot. So far, this is a really strong list. We've got a Firebranding Hawk Rider. So if you could get one of your things destroyed, dealing damage to enemy player is not bad. So it might bode well with that Butcher. We've got Mount of Heroes. So the Mount of Heroes with the Ancestral Staff is pretty cool. We've got a Rolling Smash Fist. So we are seeing that Hawk Rider Smash Fist a lot. A Stampeding Mongosaur. And a Vigilant Sparker. So Sparker is something we haven't really seen yet. So it's got Defender because of the Sparker, or because of Vigilant. But Sparker is give the next creature you play 10 attack at level 3. So basically you play it, the next creature you play gets a bunch of attacks. So it's kind of like a Bartok, but only attack. And we've got a Sunder with Reclaim at level 2, Gathering Storm at level 3, and Outwit at level 4. So I think that with this deck having multiple Exalts that are power-based, that Reclaim at level 2 is pretty sick. So it's just like, hey, let me play my staff or my mount for free and get it up a level that I missed earlier in the game. So I think this Sunder is pretty solid. I like this deck a lot. So I think this is definitely my top tier list so far out of this pack. This with the Alolan is my kind of go-to pairing right now, I think. It just, I feel like, synergizes a little bit better than with that Terra list. All right, so then we've got our Necreum list last. Because we keep seeing this Smash Fist Hawk Rider combo, maybe we're going to continue seeing these River of Souls crazy lists. Because we've seen a lot of them. Alright. So we're starting with an Abyssal Maw. An Ardent Direhound. The same Direhound that we've had before, but more Direhounds are great nonetheless. Corpus Cliff. So we haven't really seen this one yet. So you could destroy your level 1 or 2 to play a Brute. At the start of combat, if one of your cards was destroyed in this lane, or destroyed this turn, give your creature in this lane additional attack. So if this is one of your cards, that's pretty sick. So you could play a Brute, play it in this lane, and it's basically a 16-6, which is not bad at all. We've got that Covetous Bloodlord. Dissipating Spectre. Hematophagic Demon. We got an Infernal Ritual. A Restless Dead. A Stalking Drake. And a Varric's Embrace. So we've got Nyx with an Army of the Damned at level 2, Raising Dead at level 3, and Loyal Beyond Death at level 4. So again, I feel like this deck could be strong because of the fact that it's got the Direhound Restless Dead combo. So you could basically reanimate your Direhound and go on a crazy little chain of kind of going through creatures and sacrificing them and reanimating and sacrificing. So again, with the right combination, something like Restless Dead with Direhound could be really strong. I feel like compared to the one I opened before that had a Direhound with a Restless Dead and a River of Souls, that was a little bit stronger. That being said, this still has some really strong cards that, like, you can play one of your, like, Stalking Drake, for example. You can activate Covetous Bloodlord to give this additional attack. Then you could Infernal Ritual away the Drake, and then you could reanimate it off the Direhound. You kind of can have some really cool chains as a result of this. So I think because of the Infernal Ritual and the Dead and the Dire Hound, I would probably play this list. I would consider playing this list. I do know that the strongest one is the Tempest that I've opened. I think this one's pretty strong as well. I wonder though if the Eloyan would be better as a pairing for the Tempest or the Necrium. So that's something that's worth exploring. So overall though, I think that just as a quick pairing, I'll probably go Necrium, Tempest, and kind of take that route. But the Eloyan deck I think is good enough that's worth considering. So let me know if you agree. What would you do out of a pairing out of this display? Comment that in the comments here, and I'll be opening another booster real soon. So I'll see you guys next time.